beautiful day 2. Dave Berry, Southern California Youth Yacht Racing Association Series. This is the second one of the year at Coronado, U.S. Sailing Center, Long Beach in January, and then April at San Diego Yacht Club will close out the series. About 49 boats in the regatta. My phone ran out of batteries yesterday. The wind was from over here yesterday. Yesterday the wind was exactly that same direction at that time, that windsock. You see it right there pointing straight at us, about 5 knots. Today we're going to have the left come in a little more than yesterday. The wind's going to be more west, less. That's west that way, and we had wind from 290, so we had wind from northwest, west-northwest. And so the left is going to open up. You're going to have to watch for the Silver Strand breeze. Depends on how long the course is. Yesterday we had puffs to like 17 for about 15 minutes, but most of the day was 5 to 8, 5 to 9. And then have one upwind leg and one part of one downwind leg that was really full on 13 to 17, 13, 16. So today, I'm going to say the max puff is going to be 12 today, maybe 13 maybe. And again, it will die off. These are not sea breezes, that's the problem. This is a gradient high pressure wind, so we have a high pressure system that's spinning, creating this wind. We're on the leading edge of it, kind of in the leading edge of it, and the center of the high is not over us. But the problem with that wind is as the high pressure system moves, it changes strengths in wind. And we don't have any sea breeze. There's no heat in the desert at all. Temperature right now is about 61 degrees. Water temperature of 54 degrees. Anyway, race 2, and we're heading out for a pre-race routine. Most everybody towed out today except for Fenton and Celeste, and Will and Theo. Orange Spinnaker is Will and Theo. Waterboy, Theo the Waterboy. Most of our team sails 29ers, especially for fun, but some of them are racers. Will, the skipper of that's now 13, he's skipper in a 29er. And he's a all of them are Sabbath sailors pretty much. Pretty cool, sailing out is a good way to go. Fun. Pre-race on Sunday. They are not inside the spreader tip. That team is very good. Their rake is very far forward. Probably that's their lightest air rake. Their traveler is very loose. Look at the twist they have at the top of the main too. And she's almost 2 blocked right there. So the jib is more closed off. The lead to the main is quite open, and they're quite good, these girls. They were the top girls in the series last year, probably.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you a mark.
4th or 5th or 6th, yeah, 6th, something, out of 50 last year. Yep, beautiful. It's about 4 to 7 knots. Big fleet Sunday, race 5 out of 8, I believe, coming up. In the 4 regattas, they get about 32 races. 4 regattas, 8 races at each one pretty much, sometimes only 7. And again, these are the best youth sailors in California, from San Francisco to San Diego. So this is like varsity football or whatever in high school, you know. It's the very best sailors. These kids sail 3 to 5 days a week, 5 afternoons a week. They're in school tomorrow, so the San Francisco kids are flying home this weekend. They'll come back down in January to Long Beach. So it's a good commitment. The 420 fleet is really good because the competition is really good. 1 minute to go. U flag, race 5, day 2. 4 to 7 knots, so you're gonna have the boom on center line, 2 blocked, the bang is snug, and the jib is in, and the windward sheet is on a couple inches. Everybody did a very good job of pre-race routine, a lot of speed testing, a lot of working together. We got 9305 is Kai and Lorelei sailing their first 420 together. This is probably both of theirs first Perry regatta. I can't see any of our team. Zero of our team. I don't see their 7632 is Jacob Posner, second at North Americans this year. 9561, nope, that's not us either. So the pin must have been a little more favored today than yesterday. Very advantaged to be up the line yesterday. And it looks like they favored the pin a little more today. And the smart kids are all left of middle. And it is going to be, you're going to see the left pay more today because the Silver Strand Highway over there, the wind builds up over the top of that somehow. And right now we're going to be in about 6 to 9 knots very soon. I don't know if you can see little white caps in there. 6 to 9 knots. So everybody's in hike mode. That's the biggest thing we learn about these boats is in lighter wind, we often do hike mode off the line because we can just go a degree or two higher on the wind when we're in, or vice versa. If we're trapping, we go a degree or two lower and we hike mode, and then we transition into trapping, and you're going to start seeing that. You'll start seeing people jumping out on the traps. Borellis are on starboard right here. They did not have a good start. And then they got over here and they got a big puff, and they're still in hike mode right now. Our goal for them today is to sail flatter. Just sail another degree or two flatter. So they salvaged this start. They're still not great, but they salvaged that start. A good exit. Vesper and August trapping very high. They did hike mode because 8258 tacked a lure to them. They did hike mode, they squeezed up, and now they're trapping, and they are just rolling that boat. That is beautiful. You see how high she's staying? As long as it's not too choppy, we're working on staying higher. You just go ahead and let the skipper hike a little. I don't know why people don't do that. There we go. Now they're going back to hike mode. Oh, good. She wants to go left again. Beauty. Come out of your tacks, just footing and hiking for a second, and just get the flow over the centerboard really hard. And then finish your jib trim. Nice. Here's Benton and Celeste doing quite well in the regatta. She's trapping right at the shrouds. See that? In light to medium winds, you trap right at the shrouds and you go straight in and out. You do not lean back. When you lean back, you pull the top of the mast back, and that pushes the stern down into the water. So you hike straight in and out, and in the light spots, you almost lean forward a little. You do not want to lean back in the light spots. Yep, so it looks like this left side looks pretty strong. Race 1 on Sunday, and who knows what's going to happen, but one thing I know for sure is I see whitecaps here, and I see Carly Keating right here, I see boat 11 here, I see Wyatt here, I think I saw Anton here. 95 won a race yesterday. Again, looks pretty even, the lefts are crossing. Yeah, the lefts are crossing. There you go. Most of those boats were just the top 5 or 6 starters, but it is a little bit of a speed thing. The good teams just have that speed testing down. They've speed tested a bunch, and they can just get locked in their mode that they've practiced and practiced and practiced over and over again. Go, boat 11. So they sail with a little bit more twist than a lot of us in the main, just a little bit more. They're not strapping the leech on the mains at all. That's the only thing they really do. They're very steady. Very steady. And the current's making this an easy laying at the mark. 2441, having a great race. Vesper in August. is going to be moving you from right to left. So you're going to be going that way with the current. So these guys might not even jibe. They might not even jibe. I bet you they stay on starboard the whole time. So you can just see how steady they are. They do go from heel to leeward to flat. Rates are here, and the current's moving us that way. Now right here, the kids were told, check your spinnaker halyards, make sure there's not going to be any knots in them right here at the start line. And then right about here where she is, start looking upwind. Do we think it's a righty or a lefty? I think it's a righty. I think I see people on starboard tack having to head higher. So I'm definitely going around the left gate. I think the wind is coming a little bit from the right here. And then the next thing I do is I'm looking, where can I get clear air the soonest? It ain't gonna be this way. So I'm definitely going that way. Very light wind down here. And I think you're gonna see their jib main with a lot of twist. It is not hooking at all. See how she does that though? She can pump it in and get it to hook for a second. Leech of the jib is right at the spreader tip, maybe just barely inside of it. We talked about late takedowns today, that's for sure. Here comes too far. Best finisher right now for our team is Vesper with the purple kite here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. 10, 11, that's good. In this fleet, if you're in the top 15, you're doing good. If you're in the top 10, you're doing quite good. And if you're in the top 5, you're doing really, really good. Top 5s are like first. Almost. There might be a boat or two that average better than 5th, but I don't think many. Flag going down. You have to use the U flag in this fleet, otherwise you just sit here and do general recalls because none of the kids are willing to start behind each other. Now the line sight's hard because you got people sitting right on the line, outside the line there. But when you have U flags or black flags is when you can use line sights. 9310, Will right in the middle. Just a little hole right here, and then there's pressure up here. That's about 10 knots, tiny white caps. U flag in effect. Again, this is race 2 on Sunday. Race 6 for the regatta. We're looking for 11 down there, 95 down there. They did move the pin up about to square the line up. The key to the start is you just got to be able to stay on starboard. You're going to see all of the top 8 from that side. All they're going to do is stay on starboard and let everything else just clear itself out. There's 11 down there, red numbers. 7637 poked out there a little bit. 95 down there, or I think no, that's 76. 7632 is, so that's a good indicator that you've got pin favored, is you're able to do a double tack like that. And oh boy, there's going to be a couple U flags on this start. All you're trying to do is stay on starboard, stay on starboard, stay on starboard. 9306, good start. They had a really rough race because they had a port tacker just stuffed them end to wind, or a starboard tacker stuffed them head to wind with like 30 seconds to go, and they couldn't tack because they had a boat to the right of them. They're hanging in there. For them, we tried their mast rake a little further forward and a tiny bit less tension today to try to power them, help their light air. Help them hold lanes in light air. And who knows if it's going to work or not, but we can't just keep going out every regatta and just set it at the same. You do want to have some guts to just try the rake a little different, and then someday you find a setting you like and you just see if you can keep it close to that. The thing is the left is only favored by 3 to 5 boat lengths. As soon as you tack twice and you sail any sort of header, you have no chance to win or be in the top 5. So the leader is going to be one of those boats that just went straight and only did one tack until, you know, no more than like 3 tacks to be in the top 5. So there you go, they're all just tacking now. They went about, some of them went 85% left, some of them are still going on starboard, but there you go. And it's just all about wind pressure. You look over here at the coach boat in the mark, and it is windier than where I am right here. This is way glassier than the left side of that mark. That's the Silver Strand breeze right up there. It's just, the wind just increases off that shore. Who knows why? It is quite a deep fleet. About 20 of these teams will be going to the East Coast this next summer and racing. Probably 15 of them going to Orange Bowl in a couple weeks. Our team's quite young, so we don't really push the Orange Bowl too early. But the left is more favored this time than 3 to 5 boat lengths. The left was definitely favored this time. 0 boats came out of the right. Anybody who headed to the right is way, way, way behind. Again, it is a lot about speed. You know, those guys just tacked out a little bit earlier than the boat's hard left, and they actually got a little bit of a right at the end, and so that's kind of cool. It was very well done by these guys. Here's the girls again. So this is kind of the cream of the crop right here. These girls are always in the top 3, 4, 5 because they are so steady. They do put the tiller between their legs to hoist, which is all right. I just don't do it when it's windy. But very good. 9306 having a better race. A lot of our other guys aren't doing that great. That's okay. That's what happens in this 2 on Sunday. Race 6 for the Regatta. Fenton and Celeste did what everybody else did. They just protected their wind by going really high. And he started talking everybody behind him to go down. But you can see these boats reached, you can't see it now, but they just had to reach to make sure nobody rolled them. It's interesting that they're not jibing like the last race. This must be a lefty. We must be headed right now. Because the last race, people were jibing onto port and it looked okay. I was surprised. I'd be crabbing into the current. I'd be doing what the red, white, and blue boat is. I would just be going on starboard and just let the current move me to the left. The Borellis jibed, went out, got clear air, and they had an amazing run the last race. Oh no, pulling the guy back too much. There. Oh, one thing that we put on our list that nobody mentioned is that if your spinnaker is hard to fly, lower the pole down 3 or 4 inches. And if it's easy to fly, raise your pole up a little bit, unless it's already up like some of these guys. But if your pole is level, not up like them in the blue kite, if the spinnaker was easy to fly, they could raise the pole up a little bit. High pole is fast, but if the spinnaker is hard to fly, you do not. A high pole makes it harder to keep it full. See, this is what I thought was going to happen last time. I thought everybody in the lead was going to stay in the less current over here and stay on the starboard and let the current carry them that direction a little, like this, like they're doing now. See how they're coming in overstood on this side just a little even, and they'll end up 9131 is going to end up probably even having to jibe again. Now as we go by the committee boat, remember, straighten your spinnaker halyards. Sometimes the gates are upwind of the start line, so you got to have a different cue, but cue yourself up, and when you go by the start finish line, make sure the spinnaker halyard's not going to get a knot. Now I don't know if you can see it from here, but boat 11 has gained a little. So she jibed before this guy and it actually worked. but her leech is bouncing just a little. I don't know if you're gonna see it, but you'll see that the leech flexes just a little as the boat bounces. Bounce, bounce. And you want to make sure it's doing that. You don't want to have the leech too stiff like that green white spinnaker. The leech is like closed and super solid. Yeah, so you want the leech to kind of bounce like that. If it's too loose, it twists off too much though, and you lose power. Wow, this guy did lose a lot. It ain't easy out here. I think Wyatt Kelly's been incredibly fast downwind. He was back here. There's the Borellis right there. They look fast. So they're gonna round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Wyatt, 9050, black and white striped kite. And then Borelli's 9306 are gonna round 1, 2, oh, look at the current. You gotta soak down here. Look at the current, it's pushing them into that buoy. You gotta account for that. Borellis are going to come around in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So who knows if they're faster with the rake forward and the little looser tension, but we have to keep trying things. Their weakness is kind of light air, or light air and breeze. They're outstanding. With their 29er experience, they're outstanding. But I just want to try to find a little better light air speed so we can start cracking the top 10 more. Benton is going to come right in here. Blue and yellow kite. It's probably smart to take down early, but unfortunately this is where we lose a lot because we have to just stop and wait for everybody in front of us and maybe mismanage the current. About 5-6 knots. Here's the Borellis. They got on starboard and they stayed lifted on starboard. The wind shifted to 280, 285. And they stayed on it, stayed on it, stayed on it, and then they tacked and the wind went left. I have a monster puff behind me. They're gonna tack right here and come across. Yeah, they're not in the puff yet, but you're gonna see them tracking here very soon. Again, this is the steadiest team out here. She's not tracking that far forward. They're pretty small, so they don't have to worry about having their weight out very much. Yeah, Borelli's had a great beat. These girls are very steady right here. Just no glitter, no Gucci. All they're doing is steady, steady, steady. It looks like the Borelli's lost a little bit at the end because they ducked 11. I don't know what happened there. They ducked 11 and 11 grounded. Not sure what happened there. Here we go. Shotgun set. Crew goes for the... See what she does is she pulls the guy back and then she pre-cleats it in the guy hook, guy cleat, and then she banjos. So I'm okay with that. Borelli's coming around in third. This is going to help them a lot. They have a great throw out. There should only be one more race after this. And this is still race 2. They did a double lapper, by the way. In the Perry series is when the kids will sail their longest races. Here's Vesper Gromberg again, finishing well in the top half. 2441 Vesper in August. Hate to beat a dead horse, but the current is ebbing that way. And so this is what I thought everybody would do the whole day, is stay on starboard because you're getting moved left to right to left. So that ley line is moving all the time. And it seemed like there is a time where you can jibe. If you get a little lift, you can jibe and go out a little ways and then come back. But again, we're doing this again. You should not have to jibe very early in this whole thing. And this is really good wind coming down. This might be the biggest puff of the day right there. Right where Fenton is blue and yellow kite. Like we thought, the girls just were not feeling comfortable, the leeward of the pack. Maybe they saw a little wind over their shoulder. They're just gonna go that way a little ways. You see how their jib is never soaking in? They're never soaking down. They're just hardly ever soaking down much. Everybody's jib is showing that everybody stays on a broad reach. Borelli's went ahead and jibed out because they were in a pickle. They were determined to go the low road, and these other boats just reached over the top of them. But we'll see how they do here. Okay, we just heard the wind just went to 295. So the Borellis and Wyatt might lay this mark. Oh boy, I'm struggling. Yeah, so the Borellis might lay the mark. They're getting lucky because, man, did they get going slow. They were just going too low for too long. And they were in third at the weather mark, and they are a solid sixth now. I think they were just too stubborn and held the boat too low, but they're going to make the mark. And there was more wind out behind these guys because they sailed right around 11. 11 jibed early, and the wind was stronger back where we were on that side. But at least the Borellis are salvaging here. But yeah, they went, I'm not sure, just went too low. But now the wind is coming from over here. You can see the flag. One thing you look at is the flag on the race committee boat. And, sorry, I'm having a trouble here. See the flag blowing from the right, so you're definitely going around this one. Look at that big header on board here. This is like a 12-degree header on port. He might be okay at the other buoy because he looks like he's got a bunch of wind. There was more wind on that side on the run. Wyatt Kelly 9050 is a rocket downwind today. Must be a spinnaker trimmer. Last race of the regatta because we can't start after 3. It's 2 o'clock now and they're doing a double lap. So this has to be the last race. And you know these things, it's just being aware. Awareness is the #1 rule of sailing. And you're aware of a lot of things, so you already know this if you're dialed in and you're thinking and you read the sailing instructions and all that. We got Julia down there with Zarin 93151. I told them to really push it. They really want to try their best races at the end. That's one of our themes. Now what you do is keep practicing. Take a look at your sails. Make sure its sails are set for these conditions. Agree on that, and then go. Beautiful day. Race 7 for the regatta. It will be the last race. U flag is still up. I saw boats come off the line about a minute ago, and the pin is not favored. So they moved the pin end up, but the wind went a little further right after they moved it up. I think they should do I flag and U flag together. That way they can hail the numbers as they cross the line, although none of these guys are crossing the line early. God darn it, here we are again. I mean, they're just way too close to the line with the current, the direction it is. Oh well, 7682, that's Anton, just got way away from everybody. Black flag just coming down. If you're over early, so if you're between the pin, the starting line, the committee boat, and the windward mark with less than a minute, you get DSQ no matter what happens now. So anybody who's over in this just sails home. Starting line just got made way too long. They said they wanted it 60 feet longer, and he kept going and going and going. He made it 150 feet longer. And so the starting line just got way too long, but that's okay. The wind actually it was at 290, and now it's at 275 to between 275 to 280, so it's actually gone back left just a fraction. So I don't know. I think the boat end looks favored. It is a strong fleet. You can see these are mostly 15 to 17, 18 year olds. It's beautiful, isn't it? There's the leaders of the regatta. Each of the jibs inside the spreader, main, a lot of twists. She's quite high, a little bit high on the strap and just bending her knees a little. And this is just beautiful. That was a black flag start. Jacob here in 7632 right in the middle. Boats. Oh, look at the guy on the right. Look at that J22 over there just loaded up. .937 doing well. Looking really flat, Kylie and Isabella. Jib looks just great. They're right there. Jib looks great. She is going kind of low because she's a little over flat. Bella could have just let the boat yield a leeward a degree or two, and they might have been able to hang there a little longer. You gotta come out of your tacks a little bit lower and hike right away. You gotta get low over the board fast, fast, fast. Like Benton 9006 doing better. Will 9310. Doing quite well there. Pretty cool. See, I'm worried they're just not quite pulling their jib quite hard enough. The spot's a little too open. Oh, they catch. Those guys look a little more close. Yeah, those guys look like they got their jib tighter. Theo just hanging on. There he goes. What you do there, Theo, is you hang on to the actual line that's coming out of the cleat. Because pretty soon, this is where the conditions where you just raise and lower yourself quite a bit. If you're not trapping in this much wind, you are pointing too high. There we go. Or your jib's too loose. Or your main's too loose. Yeah, these guys just look outstanding. And unfortunately, that's just too much twist right there. They need more bang. Because they're letting the main out. Oh, their traveler might be on the loose side on that boat. But they look like they need more bang. Here's Wyatt. Might need a bit more bang, more main sheet. Here's Kylie. Kylie and Bella just look outstanding. They're our most improved team since the last pairing. The last pairing, the first few races, they had their jib too loose, their main too loose, they were underpowered, they weren't pulling their sails hard enough. They kept letting the sails out instead of fighting it. Now look at them. They're fighting the wind more. You gotta, it's a game of power. They just look amazing. They look like 11. They look like 11 right there. Look at the twist. They look freaking awesome. I like it. Last race. After you go by the start line, straighten your spinnaker halyard, make sure it's not going to get any knots in it. Now you look upwind, and these boats look like they have a lot of speed. I don't know if you noticed, but look at the wake, the bow wake. They look like they're bouncing and going through. I look at the pink kite, they look light, okay? So I think it's windier here. I think one of the hard parts about downwind is seeing the wind here. It is definitely lighter wind on that side right now. At least in the middle, it is lighter wind here. It is windy and big white caps right in here. So you would notice that when you're right here where the Rasta kite is. And exit angle looks about 45 degrees off of that one. I think if that was a starting line, I think I would start at the far one, the left gate over there. I think if that was a starting line, I would, yeah, definitely. So I think that that was the further end upwind, but they're going through a lot more bad air, and this guy's gonna come into the biggest puff of the day here. We got a whole nother lap to go. Yeah, again, this boat looks lifted out of here on starboard, so I think the far gate is further upwind. The only problem is there's more bad air going there. Oh, this is gonna be nuts. The gates are a pretty good distance apart though, so they could be another boat length apart or something, but I think the gates are a good distance apart. About 8 boat lengths is my guess, maybe 7. I don't know if you've gained or not. Last race, I don't know if you gained or not, but you did overstand the first weather mark. But look at this. This is what we wanted to do up in San Pedro. You see how she's fighting the main sheet? And she's hiking harder. Then watch, she'll look back behind her just quickly, just to make sure that she's not like putting off too much. But look at her. She's hiking against this, and Bella's just out, not hardly moving at all, just hanging as hard as she can, dropped herself. Again, they're not super high performance boats. You cannot be jumping all over, and you don't have to. You just gotta load it up, and you know, she's fighting the main sheet, and then she burps out the main sheet a little, and the boat will start going forward. Then she fights the main sheet and hikes. She is a little too long in that area, so I do think that she overstood the last mark. She should be spinning it right here. It is windy over here, though. There's a chance that they come out of here with a massive. They didn't even know that whole time Wyatt was right there. You see how they don't twist the jib off yet? See how that leech? This jib's a little further out than Wyatt. Wyatt's a little bigger, a lot more experience. I think Wyatt won A division at the first high school regatta this year, so yeah, he's got a little more experience. Junior in high school, she's a freshman in high school, but a little more twist in this jib, which is okay. That's driving you forward. She's got to go, man. She overstood her last time. Nice path. On these boats, you have to come out of the tack a little bit off the wind. So it's windier where I am. I mean, this is good wind, 11 knots. But I don't think we gained on this side. I think this is Wyatt right here. I think he's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Oh, he's about the same. Like